The Senate will convene as a court of impeachment, and the chaplain, Dr. Barry Black, will lead us in prayer. Shall I have order? Order, and the chaplain will lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. O Lord our God, yesterday this chamber reverberated to a standing ovation for the courage of Officer Eugene Goodman in defending this building and human life. May our legislative jurors strive to emulate his courage in their defense of the United States Constitution. Lord, touch and move them to believe that the end does not justify the means. Help them to remember that the end is inherent and built in to the means. Fill our senators with a spirit that combines common sense with commitment, conscience, and courage. We pray in your merciful name. Amen.
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes.
Yes. Senators, please be seated. If there's no objection, the journal proceedings of the trial are approved to date, and I'd ask the Sergeant at Arms to make the proclamation.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons are commanded to keep silence on pain of imprisonment while the Senate of the United States is sitting for the trial of the article of impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives against Donald John Trump, former President of the United States.
And pursuant to the provisions of Senate Resolution 47, the Senate has provided up to 2 hours of argument by the parties, equally divided, on the question of whether or not it shall be in order to consider and debate under the impeachment rules any motion to subpoena witnesses or documents. Are both parties ready to proceed at this point? They may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Senators. Over the last several days, we presented overwhelming evidence that establishes the charges in the article of impeachment. We've shown you how President Trump created a powder keg, lit a match, and then continued his incitement even as he failed to defend us from the ensuing violence. We've supported our position with images, videos, affidavits, documents, tweets, and other evidence, leaving no doubt that the Senate should convict. We believe we've proven our case. But last night, Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler of Washington State issued a statement confirming that in the middle of the insurrection, when House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy called the president to beg for help, President Trump responded, and I quote, "Well, Kevin, I guess these people are more upset about the election than you are." Needless to say, this is an additional critical piece of corroborating evidence, further confirming the charges before you, as well as the President's willful dereliction of duty and desertion of duty as Commander-in-Chief of the United States, his state of mind, and his further incitement of the insurrection on January 6th. For that reason, and because this is the proper time to do so under the resolution that the Senate adopted to set the rules for the trial, we would like the opportunity to subpoena Congresswoman Herrera regarding her communications with House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, and to subpoena her contemporaneous notes that she made regarding what President Trump told Kevin McCarthy in the middle of the insurrection. We would be prepared to proceed by Zoom deposition of an hour or less, just as soon as Congresswoman Herrera Butler is available, and to then proceed to the next phase of the trial, including the introduction of that testimony shortly thereafter. Congresswoman Butler further stated that she hopes other witnesses to this part of the story, other patriots, as she put it, would come forward, and if that happens, we would seek the opportunity to take their depositions via Zoom, also for less than an hour, or to subpoena other relevant documents as well.
Counsel.
President, thank you. Senators, good morning. And good morning to the American people. The first thing I want to say on the issue of witnesses is that the House manager just got up here and described the articles of impeachment and the charges. There is no plural here. That's wrong. There's one article of impeachment and there's one charge, and that's incitement of violence and insurrection. What you all need to know and the American people need to know is, as of late yesterday afternoon, there was a stipulation going around that there weren't going to be any witnesses. But after what happened here in this chamber yesterday, the House managers realized they did not investigate this case before bringing the impeachment. They did not give the proper consideration and work. They didn't put the work in that was necessary to impeach the former president. But if they want to have witnesses, I'm going to need at least over 100 depositions, not just one. The real issue is incitement. They put into their case over 100 witnesses, people who have been charged with crimes by the federal government. And each one of those, they said that Mr. Trump was a co-conspirator with. That's not true. But I have the right to defend that. The only thing that I ask, if you vote for witnesses, do not handcuff me by limiting the number of witnesses that I can have. I need to do a thorough investigation that they did not do. I need to do the 911 style investigation that Nancy Pelosi called for. It should have been done already. It's a dereliction of the House manager's duty that they didn't. And now at the last minute, after a stipulation had apparently been worked out, they want to go back on that. I think that's inappropriate and improper. We should close this case out today. We have each prepared our closing arguments. I had 8 days to get ready for this thing, but we each had those 8 days equally together to prepare ourselves. And the House managers need to live with the case that they brought. But if they don't, please, in all fairness and in all due process, do not limit my ability to discover the truth. That would be another sham. And that's the president's position, my position.
What's up, hooligans? Let me know how you're doing in the chat. Please take a second to hit that like button. The more likes that we get in a short period of time, the more people the algorithm will bring into the chat. Thank you guys for being here.
That we were assigned to talk about witnesses. This is completely within the course of the rules set forth by the Senate. There's nothing remotely unusual about this. I think we've done an exceedingly thorough and comprehensive job with all the evidence that was available. Last night, this was breaking news, and it responded directly to a question that was being raised by the President's defense counsel, saying that we had not sufficiently proven to their satisfaction, although I think we've proven to the satisfaction of the American people, certainly, that the President, after the breach and the invasion took place, was not working on the side of defending the Capitol, but rather was continuing to pursue his political goals. And the information that came out last night by Congresswoman Butler, apparently backed up by contemporaneous notes that she had taken, I think will put to rest any lingering doubts raised by the President's counsel, who now says he wants to interview hundreds of people. There's only one person the President's counsel really needs to interview, and that's their own client. And bring him forward, as we suggested last week, because a lot of this is matters that are in his head. Well, why did he not act to defend the country after he learned of the attack? Why was he continuing to press the political case? But this piece of evidence is relevant to that.
If I may.
And finally, I was a little bit mystified by the point about the article of impeachment, which I referred to. The dereliction of duty, the desertion of duty, is built into the incitement charge, obviously. If the President of the United States is out inciting a violent insurrection, he's obviously not doing his job at the same time. Just like if a police officer is mugging you, yeah, he's guilty of theft and armed robbery, whatever it might be, but he's also not doing his job as a police officer, so it's further evidence of his intent and what his conduct is.
If I may.
Counsel?
First of all, it's my understanding, it's been reported that Mr. McCarthy disclaims the rumors that have been the basis of this morning's antics, but really the rumors that have been the basis of this entire proceeding. This entire proceeding is based on rumor, report, innuendo. There's nothing to it, and they didn't do their work. Just like what happened with Mr. Lee 2 or 3 nights ago, some supposed conversation had happened, and they had to withdraw that. They had to back off of that because it was false. It was a false narrative. But it is one article of impeachment. Yeah, they threw a lot of stuff in it in violation of Rule 23. Rule 23 says you cannot combine counts. It's a defect in their entire case. It's one of the 4 reasons why you can vote to acquit in this case. Jurisdiction, Rule 23, due process, and the First Amendment. They all apply in this case. Let me take my own advice and cool the temperature in the room a little bit. It's about the incitement. It's not about what happened afterwards. That's actually the irrelevant stuff. That's the irrelevant stuff. It's not the things that were said from the election to January 6th. It's not relevant to the legal analysis of the issues that are before this body. It doesn't matter what happened after the insurgents into the Capitol building, because that doesn't have to do with incitement. Incitement it's a point in time, folks. It's a point in time when the words are spoken and the words say, implicitly say, explicitly say, commit acts of violence or lawlessness. And we don't have that here. So for the House managers to say we need depositions about things that happened after, it's just not true. But if he does, there are a lot of depositions that need to be happened. Nancy Pelosi's deposition needs to be taken. Vice President Harris's deposition absolutely needs to be taken, and not by Zoom. None of these depositions should be done by Zoom. We didn't do this hearing by Zoom. These depositions should be done in person, in my office, in Philadelphia. That's where they should be done. I don't know how many civil lawyers are here, but that's the way it works, folks. When you want somebody's deposition, you send a notice of deposition, and they appear at the place where the notice says. That's civil process. I don't know why you're laughing. It is civil process. That is the way lawyers do it. We send notices of deposition. In the notice of...
I would remind everybody that we will have order in
I don't have...
the chamber during these proceedings.
I haven't laughed at any of you. And there's nothing laughable here.
Well, if that doesn't scream volumes of how this will go.
In to testify. That is not the way it's done. If he wanted to talk to Donald Trump, he should have put a subpoena down. Like, I'm going to slap subpoenas on a good number of people. If witnesses are what is required here for them to try to get their case back in order, which has failed miserably for 4 reasons. There is no jurisdiction here. There has been no due process here. They have completely violated and ignored and stepped on the Constitution of the United States. They have trampled on it like people who have no respect for it. And if this is about nothing else, it has to be about the respect of our country, our Constitution, and all of the people that make it up. And so that I ask, when considering or voting on this witness matter, and to be clear, this may be the time to do it, but again, and everybody needs to know that the backroom politics, I'm not so much into it all, and I'm not too adept at it neither. But there was a stipulation. They felt pretty comfortable after day 2, until their case was tested on day 3. Now is the time to end this. Now is the time to hear the closing arguments. Now is the time to vote your conscience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moondoggy, Jen, and Richard, for your donations and all your support. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
The stipulation, and I have no further comment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Position on that.
I would remind everybody, as Chief Justice Roberts noted on January 21st, 2020, citing the trial of Charles Swain, 1905, all parties in this chamber must refrain from using language that is not conducive to civil discourse. I listened to Chief Justice Roberts say that. I agreed with him, and I thought for our colleagues, I would repeat it as I did last night. So the question we have before us is whether it shall be in order to consider and debate under the rules of impeachment any motion to subpoena witnesses or documents. The yeas and nays has been made. Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be there is. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Bennett. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal.
No, they got a little timer so we can see how far over the time they go.
Mr. Booker. Mr. Bozeman. Mr. Braun. Mr. Brown. Mr. Burr. Ms. Cantwell. Mrs. Capito. Mr. Cardin. Mr. Carper. Mr. Casey. Mr. Cassidy. Ms. Collins. Mr. Coons. Mr. Cornyn. Ms. Cortez Masto. Mr. Cotton. Mr. Kramer. Mr. Crapo. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Daines. Ms. Duckworth. Mr. Durbin. Mr. Ernst. Ms. Ernst. Mrs. Feinstein. Mrs. Fisher. Mrs. Gillibrand. Mr. Graham. Mr. Grassley. Mr. Haggerty. Ms. Hassan. Mr. Hawley. Mr. Heinrich. Mr. Hickenlooper. Ms. Hirono. Mr. Hoven. Mrs. Hyde-Smith. Mr. Inhofe. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Kane.
If they impeach the president with practically no evidence, that's just a big tell on how things are going to go for the future.
King. Ms. Klobuchar. Mr.
That video that the defense put out yesterday is spreading around the internet like wildfire. I must have had 15 people send me the link to different news articles and stuff that were posting that video. I don't even know how these people can show their face after that and confidently say that they have a case. That don't make no sense to me.
Mr. Menendez. Mr. Merkley. Mr. Moran. Ms. Murkowski. Mr. Murphy. Mrs. Murray.
Well, while we're waiting on them to do attendance, why don't you guys take a second to hit that like button? The more likes that we get in a short period of time, the more people the algorithm will bring into the chat to come hang out with us and see what's going on, especially to see these lies and cries. So take this second right now to hit that like button.
Mr. Risch. Mr. Romney. Ms. Rosen. Mr. Rounds. Mr. Rubio. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sass. Mr. Schatz. Mr. Schumer. Mr. Scott of Florida. Mr. Scott of South Carolina. Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Shelby. Ms. Sinema. Ms. Smith. Ms. Stabenow. Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Tester. Mr. Thune. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Toomey. Mr. Tuberville. Mr. Van Hollen. Mr. Warner. Mr. Warnock. Ms. Warren. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Wicker. Mr. Wyden. Mr. Young.
I can't wait for these people to call witnesses. You already know. You already know how it's going to go. They're going to tell us how scared they were, how traumatic the event was, how they can't resume normal life. They're going to cry a little, maybe a lot. They're going to leave a little sand on the chair they were sitting on. And then they're going to take a vote. And I'd prefer to see the facts, but I have a feeling that something unbelievable is going to happen. Hopefully I'm wrong. But by what sounded like the majority in the room laughing at the defense, when the defense is just simply stating facts that they don't have a case. There's no case. They're not providing any evidence. The so-called evidence they were using has been proven to be false, is doctored, edited, manipulated information. I don't even know how they could proceed. It's kind of a big tell on how things will go. Just the fact that they're allowing those people to sit in the courtroom whatever, it's not a courtroom, but allowing them to sit there and act like that wasn't false evidence.
Bennett, Blumenthal, Booker, Brown, Cantwell, Cardin, Carper, Casey, Collins, Coons, Cortez Masto, Duckworth, Durbin, Feinstein, Gillibrand, Hassan, Heinrich, Hickenlooper, Hirono, Kane, Kelly, King, Klobuchar, Leahy, Lujan, Manchin, Markey, Menendez, Merkley, Murkowski, Murphy, Murray, Ossoff, Padilla, Peters, Reed, Romney, Rosen, Sanders, Sass, Schatz, Schumer, Shaheen, Sinema, Smith, Stabenow, Tester, Van Hollen, Warner, Warnock, Warren, Whitehouse, Wyden. Senators voting in the negative: Barrasso, Blackburn, Blunt, Bozeman, Braun, Burr, Capito, Cassidy, Cornyn, Cotton, Kramer, Crapo, Cruz, Daines, Ernst, Fisher, Graham, Grassley, Haggerty, Hawley, Hoven, Hyde-Smith, Inhofe, Johnson, Kennedy, Langford, Lee, Lummis, Marshall, McConnell, Moran, Paul, Portman, Risch, Rounds, Rubio, Scott of Florida, Scott of South Carolina, Shelby, Sullivan, Thune, Tillis, Toomey, Tuberville, Wicker, Young.
Mr. President. I'd like to change my vote to aye.
Mr. Graham. Mr. Graham, aye.
Mr. President,
Mr. Sullivan.
just a point of inquiry. There's a little confusion here. Was that a vote on one witness or many witnesses?
Debate is not allowed during the vote. I advise the
Not debate, it's a
Senator
point
from
of
Alaska.
inquiry. Mr. President, it's a point of inquiry on what we just voted on.
That is, I'm advised that is not allowed during the vote.
Can't know. Immediately before they start to cast.
The points of order and debate are not allowed during the vote. That is established Senate procedure that we always follow.
Subject. I know.
On the question of whether it shall be in order to consider and debate under the rules of impeachment any motion to subpoena witnesses or documents, the motion is agreed to by a vote of 55 to 45. Majority Leader.
Mr. President,
Majority
I
Leader.
suggest the absence of a quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin.
I can't wait to see these witnesses. I can't believe Ratskin can show up with his hair looking like that. He looks rough. He looks so rough. His whole appearance just screams alcoholism and drug abuse. Like, just, oh, so bad. So bad. I know people don't like my dreads and stuff, but at least they're not just like all over the place throwing up gang signs and stuff. His hair is rough. So what a terrible appearance from somebody that makes so much money and is supposed to be in a respectable position. Although they're a bunch of liars. Still, fix your hair, buddy. You could tell nobody cares about him. They just let him walk around looking like that. What's up, Matthew? Ratskin looks like he cries himself to sleep every night. Has anyone seen the toaster? I haven't seen the toaster yet. I figured they're going to have some lies and some cries, and then she'll come in with the finishing final move with the race card slam it on the table like they're playing spades. And then they're going to be all proud of themselves and, you know, pat each other on the back and stuff. And then we'll wait for some facts to come in. I'm hoping that it's just some nice blistering truth once the defense gets up there. I'm really interested to see who the defense calls as far as witnesses and whatnot. I don't know. I knew it was going to be a circus, though. It looked like it was in the bag yesterday after those video clips came out, but I told you. They weren't going to just take it. They had something up their sleeve. Just more lying and crying. If they just repeat themselves over and over again, maybe someone will believe them. Too bad it's all their buddies out there in the stands, sitting there listening. They've probably already got their mind made up. This is all for show. You think they're going to summon Pelosi to court like they were saying? Am I even supposed to be referring to this as a court? Because they're not following any kind of legal stuff. They're just doing whatever they want. You think they're going to summon Pelosi via Zoom call to the circus? If she's staying up the street, they should just make her walk up there. But, you know, they ain't going to make her do nothing. They're all buddies. Or they call up Pelosi like, hey, we need you on the main stage over at the circus. You got 5 minutes. Just put the vodka down and just hobble your ass over here. No way. No way. They're going to have her Zoom call. They're like, roll out of bed. We need you on the Zoom call. Whip up some tears. Stat. I don't want to see Pelosi cry. It's hard to even watch her talk. I haven't even seen her speak that much. I think the first time I ever seen her speak was the electoral votes. Maybe that's bad to say, but I haven't been in politics that long. I understand how the law works. I don't understand how these people work. I am quite okay on that, Space Force. I do not need to see that. You'd be surprised how many people sent me pictures of the toaster the first day it walked up and spoke for this trial. Images I don't want to see. No. just a big no. That's a hard no. I wonder if Right Side Broadcasting is covering the hallway. Just a second. Nope, they're covering the same screen I am. They're out there grooming witnesses in the hallway. They're like, we need you to cry and say this, and then say this, and then point at the defense and tell them they're racist. Thank you so much, Holly, Anita, and Joyce, for all your donations and your support. I really appreciate you guys. And thank you so much, Candy, for joining the membership program. And welcome to the family. You're officially a hooligan. Come on, guys. Don't ask for those toaster picks. You don't want them. You don't want them. Just imagine a basketball player. I don't know how to say it. It's questionable on its gender with no shirt on. Let's put it like that. What I should do is I should look on Twitter for all the, I don't even know what they're called. They call them the managers, the liars. I should get all the liars on Twitter so I can read all the little tweets they're posting right now. I know it's petty. They're super petty. Super petty. I wonder if they don't show who's all, like, behind the camera, like in the stands or whatever, however it should be phrased. I wonder if they don't show it because the expression on their faces would give away how the vote's going to go. Space Force, YouTube provides royalty-free music if you upload videos, but being live, there's not a whole lot of features. So like if you upload a video, you can blur things, you can add in music and stuff. I produce all the music that you hear, and I have some new beats that are going to be coming out, so we can swap them out so we don't have to hear these beats for a whole nother year. So that'll be coming out soon. I wish they would provide some sort of blurring effect, so I could blur out the pew pew sticks, or maybe they should just like get over it. That would be nice. I used to be able to show all that stuff, but nah. And they suck. The way that they flag you and go about like discipline is rough. They just like cut you off and then send you an email. And in certain situations, they don't even tell you. All of a sudden, your functionality just goes away. And you have to contact customer service, and then they spend 5 days telling you they don't know what's wrong. And then eventually, you'll receive an email letting you know that you did something wrong and you're being disciplined for it. Or maybe even that you're not being disciplined for it while you're experiencing being disciplined. Like a lot of the emails that I've posted where they took my videos down, a lot of people are like, oh, well, just appeal. You can't appeal on a video that doesn't exist anymore. It's just language that's in an email. Like each video works as its own dashboard. And so if you're going to appeal a video, you go to the video and appeal. But when they remove the video, there's no video to go to appeal. So then when you write customer service and stuff, they're like, oh, well, what video is it? And you can't provide a link or anything because they're the ones that removed it. Its whole existence is gone. I've posted many emails of videos that they have taken down for stupid or no reason at all. And a lot of people in the comments always, oh, well, just appeal it. You can't. You can't. It's just something they put in their email for false hope. You can't appeal it. I do have videos that have been striked for copyright. Sometimes foreigners will take audio, like it actually happened with the first day of this trial. The defense spoke, and some foreign country, I think it was a Japanese channel, took the audio and posted it, and then I got flagged for the defense speaking because someone posted the audio. And so I got a copyright strike for what the defense had said live. That kind of stuff happens. I have certain videos that have been in appeal for almost 4 months. They're just not going to be appealed. They're just dragging it out. It's lots of hoop jumping. Lots of hoop jumping. It's a bunch of nonsense. But this is where everyone is. Everyone's on YouTube, so I have to play by YouTube's rules. I know a lot of people talk about freedom of speech and whatnot, but there's like a gray area. Like, you can't walk into a restaurant and say whatever you want to say or do whatever you want to do and then still get served. They have the right to turn down service. That's how these platforms work. That's how Facebook works, Twitter, YouTube, all of that. So this happens a lot in the Discord. There's rules in the Discord. And anytime I have to enforce rules, people start crying about censorship. I didn't make the platform. Same thing as YouTube. I'd like to be able to say whatever I want to say. But at the end of the day, this is their platform. I don't own any right to be on YouTube. So if I say something, they don't like it, and they strike me down, there's nothing I can do about it. They own it, not me. Your freedom of speech is limited in certain situations, just like being in a restaurant. You walk into a restaurant, you start cussing at the staff, they can make you leave. And you could sit there and cry, well, freedom of speech. They don't have to serve you. YouTube doesn't have to serve us. Facebook, Twitter, all that, they don't have to serve us. They are censoring us. They're mistreating us, choosing who to take down and who to not take down. It's not exactly infringement on freedom of speech. It's their rules. And if you think about it, it goes to the overhead. I mean, a lot of these people are evil, and they are purposely mistreating people in a vile and toxic way. But at the same time, there's certain platforms, like look what happened to Parler. Parler was trying to give everyone the freedom to do and say what they wanted on the platform, as long as it wasn't harmful or inciting criminal activity. They're hosted by Amazon. So even though Parler tried to provide a very loose and free platform, in the end, Amazon dropped them. The Google Play Store dropped them. The Apple App Store dropped them. So that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. A lot of these platforms have terms of service and community guidelines. And I know a lot of people feel like, oh, well, I'm being censored. Well, in certain platforms, they have to have those community guidelines, or they have to have those terms of service because of who hosts them. Like wherever their website goes back to, whoever is holding their server has rules. And if they don't play by the rules, they're going to lose their whole platform. They can't forfeit their whole platform because you want to post a pair of tits on your, on your page. Like that's the way it goes. It goes all the way up the hill. And I think that if people had a better understanding of how this stuff works, they wouldn't be so quick to kind of flip the switch. I've had, like in certain instances, YouTube filters the chat, right? If you say certain things, YouTube will filter the chat. Your comment may be flagged, and no one else will be able to see it. I've had people freak out They might have said something racist. They might have said something violent. They might have said something that wasn't a big deal at all. Sometimes if you say the president's name of any president, it'll get flagged. Or if you say a color, sometimes that'll get flagged. If you say someone's dumb or stupid, sometimes that'll get flagged, which is fairly harmless. Sometimes that'll happen, and I'm running 9 different screens and doing all this other stuff, and I can't read everybody's comment, especially if we have a couple thousand people in the chat. I can't read everyone's comment, especially if you're not tagging my name, because if you tag my name, it'll pop up orange on my screen, and I can actually see who's talking to me. But I've had people who were here for months, and then all of a sudden they said something that got flagged. They figured out it got flagged. Then they're writing in all capital letters that I'm a communist and I'm censoring them and this, that, and the other, and they're trying to provoke the chat to, I don't know, do whatever. And then they leave, and then they go off and tag my name on 13 different platforms about what kind of POS I am. And in reality, I didn't even see what they said. But people don't have a firm understanding of how all this internet stuff works. And so it's really quick to point fingers, especially at someone like me, where I'm running the show and I'm just trying to get some truth out there. And people get, so passionate about what's going on. And then as soon as something weird happens or something that's not in their favor, they point their fingers at me. I get hate mail and all kinds of stuff. I've had to ban people because they lost their marbles right there live. And then they write me emails. They write me on Instagram. They write me on Twitter. They find me on Facebook. They join the Discord to start cussing at hooligans. And in the end, they're just like, well, it wasn't my fault. You gotta be responsible for your own behavior. It's called self-control. It's the biggest superpower you can have. And it's crazy. But at the same time, we are being mistreated. I'm not saying we're not. We definitely are. For them to allow, rioters and protesters and all that stuff to be able to post videos over and over and over again, harassing officers and messing with pedestrians and blowing out store windows and all this stuff, that's totally fine. But if you get on here and you start talking about irregularities that happened in the summer, they will delete you for that. So it's very skewed on the hoops you have to jump through in order to be able to do what you want to do. I mean, you got to think there's stuff that I know about, that I've seen, that I'm very well aware of, that I can't talk about. I'm talking to you right now very clearly from my brain out my mouth. There is things that I could say probably in 5 words or less that could have the whole channel deleted. I have to be careful with what I say. But it's important to me that the truth gets out there. I'm willing to jump through the hoops. That's all there is to it. So I got to play by the rules to get it out there. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, use BitChute, use Rumble, go here, go there. The people are the ones that need to see the truth. I know the truth. I've been watching it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. We might be at thousands of hours at this point that I've seen the truth. But I want everyone to see the truth. I want everyone to see what's going on live. I don't ever tell people what they should think, what they should feel, what they should do. I just put the truth on the screen and we're watching it together. But I think the more people that see the truth, even if it's just one day, that hang out here for one day, not even a whole day, just long enough to see some truth, it's like the fire is lit. Now they know what to look for. It's kind of like your first time Googling something. All the information in the world's right there. It's up to you to ask the right question. It's up to you to know what to look for. Putting the truth on the screen does that. Lots of new people show up every day. The majority of the people that enter the chat are people that have never been here before. According to the analytics, 75% of the viewers that show up on a daily basis have never been here before. So when they see the truth and they see what's going on, they're going to tell their friends. They're going to tell somebody, hey, I was on YouTube and I seen this crazy looking dude with face piercings and dreadlocks and hand tattoos, but he had some crazy stuff on the screen. And that's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's how the truth gets out there. So it's important to me so I have to jump through the hoops. That's all there is to it. And maybe a lot of you, before me saying something, didn't realize that that's how a lot of these platforms work. The apps on our phone are just extensions of websites or servers that are being hosted by some bigger entity that has their own rules, their own set of guidelines, and it all rolls downhill. So, yeah, it's just a part of the truth. I wish they would have put a time reference for how long they're going to be searching for witnesses and whatnot. I really want to see who the defense pulls out, because I already know who the liars are going to pull out. They're going to pull out some more actors. Lies and cries. Hardcore lies and cries. I think we're going to see some big cries from these witnesses, because they got to prove it. Everything else has been disproved. But if they can pull on their heartstrings, oh, so-and-so showed up and they were just sobbing so hard they could barely speak. They say they haven't slept a minute since the 6th. They got 6 dogs and 10 cats for companion pets because they just don't feel safe anymore. They're worried that insurrectionists are going to march in the house at any minute. They're bloodthirsty maniacs. They're going to say that stuff and they're going to cry and cry and cry. And all their buddies in the stands are going to applaud and maybe give out a couple more medals and stuff like that. But I can't wait to see who the defense pulls out. I'd like to see more videos. Their videos were awesome. They were awesome and directly to the point. We'll see. We will see. Don't say that, Space Force. I don't have a college degree in broadcasting. That's not true at all. I'm not sure if you're trolling or what. That's not true at all. I have a bachelor's degree in music production and audio engineering. And I went to Full Sail University and graduated in 2016. As far as like schooling goes, that's it. What I learned there just happened to be pretty much the same skills needed to do this. So now I do both. Yes, this does help pay for student loans and stuff like that. I owe $42,000 for student loans. So the support does help that, but it also goes towards computer parts, microphones, cameras, better internet, stuff to be able to provide a better service, because it supports the channel. So I try to put as much back into the channel as possible to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of it. I mean, my phone is crazy at this point. I'm subscribed and following politicians and live streamers and all kinds of stuff that if it wasn't for you guys and all the truth that we show here, I would never be following these people. I would never be subscribed to these people, but I have to in order to know what's going on. I'm pretty much on call 24 hours a day. At any moment, something can happen and I need to go live. I need to drop what I'm doing and go live. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's how I feel. That's what I believe. So that's why I'm dedicated to it. It's what I'm supposed to do. Well, Jeff, it's not that YouTube is our only source to interact with. It's the fact that every phone in America, every phone that is sold in America, comes with YouTube on it stock. So everyone who watches videos or watches lives or anything, generally they're watching YouTube. That's the problem. There is other platforms out there, and I have considered looking into what it would take to start an alternative YouTube situation, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of technical stuff. You have to have servers. You have to, again, be hosted by someone. Lots and lots and lots and lots of hoops to jump through. And by the time you're done with it and you have a functioning platform, you're still not going to be on every phone in America. You're still going to be second, third, fourth, fifth, 100th best to the YouTube platform. They're number one in video. Like, you don't never hear about Vivo anymore. They were like number two to YouTube for a long time. I don't know if YouTube bought them out or what exactly happened with that. But YouTube's number one. So it's not really about creating another platform. It's about providing information to where the people are. Right now, this is where the people are. Until they start selling cell phones with different video apps on them, this is where the people are going to be. So that's all there is to it. I wish these people had come back. I want to go get some coffee. I gotta run to the kitchen. You guys are hilarious. Yeah, I heard that Trump was considering coming out with some sort of platform, but I didn't see Trump say that. I didn't see him say that. I seen articles, reports saying that he was considering it. No, I'm not saying it's not true, but you got to think about it. They won't even let him on social media. Who's going to host it? Who's going to stick their neck out there to host a platform created by a person who is banned on all social media? He can't even have a Pinterest. He's probably banned from platforms we don't even know about. I don't think anyone is going to host his social media. Now, it's my thought and my opinion, and you guys are all free to your opinion. But I don't think anyone's going to do that. I don't think anyone's going to, because it's more than just their reputation. It's not just, they're siding with the president or however. It could get them shut down. I mean, in lots of ways. So I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, look at Parler. I said the same thing about Parler. Parler went down. I was like, I don't know if they're going to come back, because anybody who hosts them will be attacked by the people that shut him down, that shut Parler down. And people argued with me, oh, they'll be back in a week. They're talking about being back by Friday. How long have they been down now? 6 weeks? 5 weeks? They might come back. But again, if they come back, the people who took them down, they'll be going after whoever supports them on their server. There's stuff that happens in the background that like no one talks about. The news don't talk about. The general public doesn't really know about. There's like the internet itself is not like broadly understood. So a lot of stuff goes on. As far as I know, it's not regulated as well as people think. Lots of monopoly kind of stuff happens. So I don't know if the president put up a platform, I would join it. I mean, I'm on Clout Hub and that works like crap, but I'm on there. I'm on Clapper, and Clapper's full of super self-entitled people who every single video on Clapper is someone telling you what you should do. If you're this kind of person, you should do this. Oh, it gives me anxiety. It fills your heart with hate. I can't even be on Clapper unless I'm like trying to post something or follow somebody. But I got to be there just in case. I have to be on all platforms so I can reach everybody no matter what happens. I have to be connected to people in order to get the truth out there. Being connected to people is the number one priority. Because what good is just knowing the truth on my own? I mean, it's good for me, but I'm just one person. Everybody should know the truth. Look what happens when everyone believes CNN. I'm sure you guys see it all over the place. People sounding like full-blown idiots, saying stuff that is totally not true. Yeah. So, I mean, if the president came out with a platform, I would join it. Most platforms I'm a part of, I just don't regularly post because it's either super inconvenient or it doesn't work very well, or, well, like on Clapper, I don't do TikTok challenges. I'm not out here eating Tide Pods. Like, it's very difficult for me to put content on Clapper. They're not going to let me put a 8-hour trial video on Clapper. And maybe if I had time or somebody to edit my videos, maybe I could have my videos edited and put up there, but I don't have time or the resources to do it at this point. So there's certain platforms I'm connected to that I just simply can't put content on. But I'm there, people follow me, I'm connected. So if something did happen and I want to take a selfie really quick and talk to the viewers, I could, because I'm there. I'm already connected. It's a lot of thought that goes into all of this. I know a lot of times people think I'm just some idiot sitting here. I got like 9 screens going at once right now. I got 3 monitors around me. Like, I have both hands doing something at all times, and a lot of times I'm talking at the same time. A lot of times when I'm talking, I'm reading your comments while I'm talking. So I know what to say next. So I know what to talk about next. So I know who to reply to. So I can be aware of situations. Sometimes you guys let me know when I'm being shadow banned, or if buffering is happening. Like when YouTube is messing with me and it's buffering, I don't know that it's buffering. The only reason I know it's buffering is because you guys tell me, and then I investigate into it, and through different resources in my dashboards and stuff, I'm able to tell that, these things are happening. So there's lots of multitasking and stuff going on. Lots of thought goes into this. All right, so I'm going to give some shout outs really quick, and then I'm going to grab some coffee. It'll only take me a couple seconds. Thank you so much, Joyce, Yum Yum, Rachel, Bree, Callie, Daniel, Emily, GM, and Katie. Thank you guys so much for your donations and all your support. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you all for being here, especially right now during this downtime and it's really boring and you're just listening to me talk and you're like, shut up and show me something good. I really appreciate you guys so much, more than I can express into words. I should really take a class on conversation techniques. because I'm not very good at it. I'm more like just direct information. I'll have to work on that. But I really appreciate all of you. If you're new here, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell icon and join the Discord. YouTube will not send you a notification. They don't like me. They don't like people who tell the truth. They're not going to send you a notification when I'm live. Join the Discord. Go through the steps. You'll be greeted with an automated message letting you know you've done all you need to do in order to receive notifications. It's that simple. When you get notified, I will be the one tagging you. It will have the link and everything. It's as simple as getting the notification, clicking it, clicking the link, and seeing it on the live. So, for anybody that hasn't already liked the video, please take a second to like the video so we can fill the chat up. By the time these people come back with their lies and cries and witnesses, and who knows what else they will bring to the table. There's always surprises on this show here at the circus. All right, so I'm going to grab some coffee. It'll only take me a second. I think it's really funny. There's a delay, and the amount of time in the delay is different every day. But I always think it's funny because I will cut the camera off. Sometimes I'll receive a phone call or something. I'll cut the camera off, but I'll still be sitting here. And I can see the difference between whether I'm on the screen or not. And so like for this instance, I went to get some coffee and I came back. But by the time I turned the camera on and stuff, I'm seeing comments that you guys are writing right when I shut the camera off. So I'm seeing all these funny comments, but what I also see is little troublemakers who come out of the shadows. They're like, oh, Dad's not around. Better start making some mischief. Cracks me up. And then they get banned and nobody even sees it. And foolishness. It's hilarious. Well, I can't imagine this could be too much longer. It looks like both sides are just standing around. So I imagine they should be starting back up soon. I'm going to see how long we've been waiting. Goodness, have we really been waiting 50 minutes? Is that accurate? I don't know. I just checked the timeline. I think we've been sitting here 50 minutes. That's ridiculous. Look at these people getting paid. What are they getting paid to do? Lies and cries. Goodness. It's like a soap opera. It's a lot like a soap opera. Which is sad, considering it's our politicians making decisions that affect the country and our future. But it's super dramatic. At least the music's not all pianos and violins. People would be sitting here crying in the chat. Look at these liars and criers. Is this fight music? That's what I want to ask the toaster. I like how the toaster's sitting there speaking about fight music while there's rap beats in the background while she's speaking. We're watching you speak to fight music. Just like in that video from Texas. It's fight music. Stupid. That was one of the stupidest things they said. I bet that guy from Philadelphia has to show a lot of restraint to not go over there and tell Ratskin how stupid he is. Everything they've said has been totally proven to be nonsense. And they still stand there and act like, they're like, we brought forth overwhelming evidence that was proven to be false and not actually evidence in any kind of fashion. But it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. If I talk like this and I use weird head nods and lots of hand gestures, maybe you'll believe me. Come on, guys. Let's get the show going. Let's see some more of the circus. Well, Nina, I mean, that would be true if they didn't run everything going on. So Nina says if they impeach Trump, then that leaves the door open for all the Democrats and whoever made similar statements to also be impeached. That would be true if they didn't vote. But the fact that they run the show, they're not going to vote against their own kind. They're just not going to. Obviously, none of this is about making sense. That's been obvious at this point. Nothing about this is about making sense. They've already proven it's unconstitutional. They took a vote. They were like, yeah, let's just keep going ahead. We're just going to go ahead and do the impeachment. They proved that all the so-called overwhelming evidence is just a bunch of nonsense. Just a bunch of nonsense. Doesn't mean anything. They're just opinions. They're not facts. The screenshots they provided were doctored and false. The videos and audio they provided was manipulated. It's all been, they proved it. You know, it was proven yesterday. And here they are. Continuing on. It's not about making sense. It's about providing a show before they get what they want. I mean, that's what it looks like. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully, you know, some actual truth happens. Some accurate processing happens. But according to how things have been going through the whole show, was today, day 5, I think they're going to end up getting their way, even though it just doesn't make any sense. Hopefully I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But they run the show. So I could totally see 5-10 people all doing things the same or even worse than the supposed incitement, and they could go ahead and do the impeachment and still not impeach or vote out or discipline or disqualify any of those other 5 or 10 people, because they run the show. It's favoritism all day. Space Force, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, Cali, that happens. Lots of people show up and they think I'm Antifa. They just see my appearance and make assumptions. It happens, especially kids. Kids don't know any different. What really gets me is back when this stuff was just getting spicy, near the end of summer, when there was all those irregularities happening, and we were covering rallies as well as covering protests and riots. And sometimes I'd run a live, and I'd have someone call me a Nazi or a racist or something like that, and get called the N-word in the same live. I'd get both sides. Nobody wants me on their team. Nobody wants me. I'm on my own team. That's how the hooligans came along. Nobody wanted me on their team. I was just trying to be on my team. I wasn't even trying to pick sides. It says it in my description. I'm just here for the truth. I just love America and the Constitution. But people would show up in the chat and they'd be like, oh, this is Antifa, he's trash. And then I'd have people show up and they'd be like, oh, he's a Trumper, he's trash. Stupid. People are stupid. But it's whatever. People are free to their own opinion, no matter how wrong it is. So that's how it goes. No, I'm not Antifa. Not at all. I'm just an American. That's it. Just an American. Out here showing the truth. Being civil. Following the law. That's me. Well, NMJ, every day someone asks me how old I am, and today it's you. So, does anyone in the chat remember how old I am? This is a fun game. I might put it in the description. I might put how old I am. A lot of people ask me where I'm at, where I'm from. That's also in the description. That's why at the top it says read the description. My age isn't on there yet, but yeah. I'm in Michigan, by the way. Why don't you guys let me know where you're from? It's always nice to see who's all in the chat. A lot of times there's a lot of Michiganders in the chat. I don't know if that's because of the algorithm or what. 64, 56. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on now. Oh, yeah, you guys remember. I'm 31. I'll be 32 in March. I'm not going to tell you when my birthday is. You'll have to just show up every day in March, and you'll know, because we're going to take shots together. I'm probably going to wear a hat or a crown, or who knows. We'll do something. Maybe I'll make a special birthday shirt or something. I'm real big into celebrating my birthday. It's my own holiday. Why wouldn't I be into it? I always tell people that. People are like, oh, I hate my birthday. I'm just 1 year older. What do you mean? It's your own holiday. You should be just going ham. Even if you're turning like 92, you should be going ham. Do it up. Treat yourself. Celebrate your own holiday. With my birthday being in March, when I celebrate my birthday, I'm celebrating my birthday with like a third of the country. Lots of March birthdays. Heck yeah, we got a little bit of everybody here. Yeah, Craig, it might be. We might celebrate the whole month. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Why not? You never know when it's your last birthday until it is. So maybe we'll just celebrate it all March. We'll see. Thought maybe they were getting their stuff together. Thought I was hearing their microphone.
Mr. President,
Oh, yeah.
The Majority Leader,
I ask unanimous consent to vitiate the quorum call.
without objection, so ordered.
Mr. President, as I understand it, there are discussions underway, and so I ask unanimous consent the Senate recess until 12:30 p.m.
Is there objection? Hearing none, we stand in recess till 12:30.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, goodness. Really? We waited all that time just for them to go to a recess? That's stupid. 12:30. 45 minutes. Oh, we're not going to sit here for another 45 minutes. Sit here and listen to me ramble on. All right, so what we're going to do, everyone, is we're going to end this live stream, and we will be back up in 45 minutes. I'm sorry that we had to sit through all that crap. I did not know that was going to happen. Otherwise, we would have gone about all of this differently. But at least we got to know each other a little better. We will be going live in another 45 minutes. So join the Discord if you're not already part of the Discord. Follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on CloutHub, even though their platform works like crap at this point. All of those places, I post the link for when we go live. If you're new here, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell icon and join the Discord. Let's give these shout outs really quick. Thank you so much, Callie, Insanity Boys, Randy, Puddin' Puss, and Eagle Warrior for your donations and all your support. And thank you, Domestic Diva, for joining the membership program, and welcome to the family. You're officially a hooligan. All right, everyone, so we're going to end this live stream. I will see all of you in 45 minutes. When we come back, don't forget to hit that like button and to share this to everyone, because everyone should see the circus that is going on. So I will see you guys in 45 minutes. Thank you all for being here.